There's monthly supervision sessions for all the volunteers, which is just, I really have a high value for that, and I found it very, very useful going through supporting clients. There's 2 sessions per month, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, so hopefully everyone can join. I used to quite often go to both because you get to see different people, and because I was quite active as a volunteer, I think a lot of things, it was very useful to talk about. It's led by Satinder, who's just wonderful. She's got a lot of clinical supervision experience, and she leads it in such a way that you feel very welcome. It's very warm. It's like a cosy space to be in.
Satinder is lovely, and she listens. It's a very safe space. Anything that's talked about is not shared anywhere. You can say how you feel. Anything about the case that upset you or you found difficult. And Satinder gives really good advice and ways that you can cope mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
She is. She's
Wonderful
very, very
woman.
good.
She really is. I want
And
to
just asks
box
the
her
right
up.
questions at the right.
Box her up and bring her in at the end of every week of my life. Just to get that week away from me now. Thanks very much. Supervision is really helpful, because even if you think, oh, that went really good and there wasn't any problems and I feel fine,
There's that word again.
there's always, I know, there's always something that has happened that you've just shrugged off, you know.
You can come late, you can leave early, you can sit on the bus and, not have your camera on and just listen in, if that's what fits in with your schedule. She's very sort of just allowing of all of that. And then you can talk about something that's going on with a case, or you can just listen and feedback to people. But it's so useful to get advice or validation or anything, just sort of also just seeing that other volunteers are maybe going through similar situations. So it's just great to hear that sort of feedback, suggestions, which have helped me in loads of different situations. It's sort of continually not just getting that support and validation, but continually improving your practice, I think, as a volunteer. So I think even if you're not active on a case, it's so good to hear what other people are sort of dealing with.
You're like sharing all of this knowledge and experience and like commiserating over things that haven't quite gone well, or like getting angry with each other about things that are horrible, because there are, like, especially when you're working in with people in the asylum system specifically, people who've experienced really horrendous situations of like trafficking and violence, and then come here and are experiencing like another really violent, horrible system. That weighs on you. The supervision, things like that, help me really like keep that in check, because if you go too far down it, then you're not really any help to anyone, least alone yourself.
I think it's a bit like that sort of, a worry shared is a worry halved, and I think that sort of the same goes for like that righteous anger. Like you're like, I'm so mad about this, but then if we share that in supervision, then it's like, that everyone feels that.
It's like
and
a more productive, like midsummer, like collective scream.
We can all scream into the void together.
I feel like the majority of the time for myself, and I've seen it with the other volunteers, like we'll maybe come into the session feeling a bit tired or feeling a bit overwhelmed or whatever, maybe not from Amma work, but from just your everyday life. And by the end, everyone's sort of feeling like, I feel really uplifted, or I feel really grateful, I feel really, supported. And it's just, it's a really, something you don't really get in your everyday life. So it's like, take advantage of it big time.
It's looking after your whole being, like your whole self, to make sure that you're not going to burn out or take on a lot that you can't then maybe process, you have to debrief from. So it's very good.